everybody, welcome to another fantastic reading. I'm Zoe Alex, welcome. Basically, in this wonderful reading, I'm going to be doing a Cancer reading. The Cancer reading is going to go for March 22nd to April 2nd of 2025. So basically, in this whole entire reading, it's going to be very wise choice to understand about this. And there's going to be an opportunity to understand about how things are and how we can do that in wonderful ways. And this is the way of how it is in that sequence, and this is how it's going to be very interesting in that way. And you have to think about your opportunity to understand that, right? So the point being is that in this wonderful reading, I'm going to be telling you about what's going on in this Cancer reading, and the Cancer reading is basically for a water sign, as a zodiac sign, okay? Not Cancer that you have cancer, brain cancer, whatever it is, not that. But you know what I mean, right? So that's how it kind of concludes. And understand about this is how it's going to be based on the opportunities about what's going on through the situation. And this is the way it kind of turns out in this, unbelievable way of how it is. But, that's the way it seems to be in a wonderful way, and you think that, okay, well, it's a beautiful way I will believe about what's going on. But you know what, this is like a Cancer reading, for goodness sakes, right? So that's how it is, right? So whether if you are a Cancer or if you are not, or whatever zodiac sign you are in, that's the way it seems to be, right? So it's the way of how this is in this way, and it's the way of how it kind of concludes, because that's the way of how it is, where you have your own monologue, your own situation, your own manual script, how things is. But that's how it seems to be, right? So you have to understand about what's going on in this way, and this is how it seems to be, right? So let me read you the oracle card. It says, balance. I bring a state of perfect harmony into my world, and I do so without judgment. When you have balance, you have to believe that when you have balance, everything is going to be all balancing. But we don't understand, right? We don't know. But the point being is that in this way about how it is, you're going to balance your own feelings, your own wants, your own needs, your own desires, your own emotions, whatever it is. And you have to pay attention to it. Yes, there are times where you need to consider your options, but that's how it is. You have to believe in yourself. You have to do that, right? So you have to understand that, okay, well, this is an opportunity to understand this, and this is the way it kind of concludes. So you have to believe that everything will be fine, but it's like, well, this is the way it kind of concludes. So you have to do what you can, but you have to be mobilized of how it is in that way, and you have to think about if everything's balanced. That's the way it seems to be, right? So you have to understand that. Okay, so in this way about this whole entire situation, we have to believe about what's going on. So I'm going to do one card of the tarot, and then I'll add everything up to it in this whole entire way. And this is the way it seems to be. So this is going to be for March 22nd to April 2nd of 2025. So, for this Cancer reading. So, I hope that this is going to be a good reading, and I hope that it's going to be good, right? So that's how it is in that way, but this is how it seems to be. So basically, in this format, we have the High Priestess reverse. So you're not using your inner voice. You're not using that opportunity. You think that, well, this is not going to end well. But this is just a start. This is just the start of it. This is the way it seems to be in that way. And you think that, well, everything will be all, how it is and how it seems to be in that format. And you think that, well, everything will be fine. Yes, it is. But you have to believe on what's going on in that situation, right? So this is why this is going to be very different of a reading. and this is going to be how it's going to be in that way, and you think that, well, everything will be all fine and the way of how it is, right? So you have to believe that everything has to be all good, and you think that, well, this is going to be an opportunity to understand it. It's like, yeah, but doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make that opportunity to how it is, right? This is not going to be like a standstill. This is not going to be the way of how everything is, right? So you have to be how it is in one way or another. And this is not a short and sweet. This is not the way of how it goes. This is not your cup of coffee, cup of tea, whatever it is. No. But this is just the way it seems to be, right? So you have to believe what's going on, and this is the way it seems to be, right? So you have to believe that. So let me see what's going on. Right, so let me go into clarify. So we're going to go to clarify on the left side, then the right side, and the middle. Okay, that's the way it goes. But this is how it seems to be. So we have the Two of Swords reversed, Ace of Cups reversed, the Empress reversed. So you're not having any nourishment. You have, that's the way it kind of concludes. And you think why? That is a very interesting way. The Two of Swords reversed, you already know is actually the path you're going to take. That's the way it goes. That's the way you want. But that's how it kind of concludes in that dialogue, and that's the way it goes. What's happening between the Two of Swords, the Ace of Cups, and the Empress? The Nine of Swords is upright. So it does where you're having basically, trauma in that situation because you're feeling, well, this is not going to end well, and I don't know what to do, right? And that's the way it seems to be, right? So you have to have these basic needs, or the way of how it is, because you're not feeling so good, or you're not feeling like it's the way of how this is going to be, but this is the way it kind of concludes in that way, right? Because you're not using your inner voice, you're not using on how it is, but that's how it seems to be. What's happening on the right side? The Four Pentacles is upright, Four Wands is upright, and the King of Swords reversed. So you have no knowledge, right? You don't have any knowledge. The Four Wands is upright. It does represent celebration. Maybe it could be that. The Four Pentacles does represent money because you want money in that way, because you're fearing that you're not going to have any money, but then you're feeling like there's the cost of living is going up, everything is going to go up. That's the way it goes, right? And you need to figure out what's going on in this situation, and you think that, well, everything has to be how you can do it in that way, and you think, okay, well, this is going to be a way of how I can do it in the way of how it seems to be. What's happening between this King of Swords here? The High Priestess here is, because you're not using your inner voice. You're not using it. So it's like you're thinking about what's happening in that position, and that's the way it kind of concludes in that way. And you think, well, this is going to be very interesting. This is the way of how I can do it. This is the way of how it seems to be. Yes, but doesn't make any sense, right? Doesn't make how it is. What's in the middle of this situation? The Knight of Swords reversed. So there is no drama in this situation, because that's the way it kind of concludes. What's happening between this Knight of Swords here? The Chariot is upright. Yeah, because you're having progress. When you have progress, you have your own way and say, well, this is the way of how I can do it. But then you have to believe on what's going on in this way of saying, well, this is the way of how I can do it. This is the way of how I can proceed with caution, or whatever it is, right? This is not going to be like a make-believe situation. This is not the way of how everything is, right? So you have to believe on how it's going, and that's the way it kind of concludes, right? That's the way it is. So let me clarify between the left side. Knight of Cups reverse, the Empress reverse, Two of Pentacles reverse. Yeah, see, you're not balancing. You're not. That's the way it goes. You're not having any nourishment. You're not having any romance. That's the way it goes, because it's like this is not going to be an opportunity for me. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to proceed with caution. I'm not going to have all these things. That's the way it goes, because everything is not going the way it's planned, but then it's like everything is not going your way, and you think, well, this is not going to end well. It's not, because it's not in that how it is, right? That's the way it seems to be. What's between the Knight of Cups, the Empress, and the Two of Pentacles? The Four of Pentacles reversed, so you're not having any money in that situation. But then the Five of Swords is upright because you're having conflict. Yeah, because you're not going to get along. You're not having anything else. It's like, why I'm having conflict? Why I'm having these bad responsibilities, or having bad priorities, whatever it is, because it doesn't make any sense, right? And that's how it kind of concludes. Because you think, well, this is not going to be the way of how it is, right? This is how it is. I'm not going to forfeit. I'm not going to do anything. But that's the way it kind of goes. What's happening on the right side? The Knight of Pentacles reversed, followed by the Queen of Wands is upright, followed by the King of Wands is upright. Yeah. So there's passion, there's charisma, there things are going to be in that way. So you could be dealing with in a Leo, Aries, or Sagittarius. You could deal with in a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius as air signs and fire signs as well. Nine of Pentacles reversed, you're not having any trust. I don't know why, but that's the way it kind of concludes in that way, and that's how it seems to be. What's happening in the middle, please? The Seven of Cups reversed, so there's no delusion, but the King of Cups is upright because you want support. Yeah, you want things to be in that way, and you think that, well, everything is going to be all, how it is. This is not a drastic situation. This is not how you can believe that you're going to behave as a wonderful, individual. That's the way it seems to be. But then you need to figure out, like, well, is this going to be a good for me or bad for me or whatever it is, right? You need to conclude what you're doing, because that's how it is, right? Because you have to believe on what's going on in that way, and you think, well, this is the way I need to do it. This is the way of how I can proceed the way it is, because that's the way it goes, right? That's how it seems to be. Okay, so I'm going to clarify what's happening on the left side. The Devil reversed, followed by the Temperance is upright, followed by the Star reversed. So it means that you have no inspiration, no addictions or anything like that. The Temperance is upright because you're healing about something. That's the way it goes, because you could be healing after a conflict that wasn't going your way as planned. That's the way it seems to be. What's happening with the Star? The Emperor reversed, so you have no structure. The High Priest is yours. There's no inner voice, but the World is upright because there's completion. Yeah, because everything is completed. That's the way it kind of how it is. And you think that everything will be all good, but then it's like, well, this is the way it kind of concludes in that way, in that perfect, well-known situation. That's the way it goes. What's happening on the right side? The Chariot is upright, followed by the High Priest is upright, followed by the Strength card reversed. So you have no strength. The High Priest is upright because you're going to use your inner voice. You're going to get back to normal as you can. The Chariot is upright because you're going to have progress. That's the way it seems to be. What's happening with the Strength card here? The Sun reversed. So it means that you have basically negativity, because you're feeling negative. And when you are feeling negative, everything is not going as planned. That's the way it seems to be in that note. And you think that, well, this is the way I need to do it as how it seems to be in that moment. What's happening with the Sun card here? The Strength card reversed, followed by the Hangman reversed, followed by the Empress is upright. Yeah, because you want to have nourishment. You want to have things to be as long as it needs to. That's the way it needs to be in that way. You need to figure out that, well, this is how I can do it. This is the way I need to do it. This is the way I need to do what I can, That's how it seems to be. What's happening between the World and the Temperance? The Empress is upright, followed by the Hierophant is upright, followed by the Temperance is upright. So basically it means that you have healing that's going to come out. The Hierophant is upright because you're going to have guidance, and then the Empress is upright, you're going to have nourishment. Yeah, because on the left side, the left side here and the right side here, they both have Empress, right? Because that's nourishment, right? And when you are the feminine as the woman who is Cancer, as a, that's the way it goes. That's the way it seems to be, right? Because everything has to be all good rather than having short and sweet, whatever it is. It's not that, right? That's what it seems to be. And what's happening with this King of Cups here? The moon is upright. So there is misrotations here. That's the way it kind of goes. Let me clarify. Let me clarify the moon. The Death card reversed, followed by the Tower is upright. So there is transformation here. Okay. What's this Death card is? The Judgment is upright. Yeah, because you're going to take action. You're going to feel what's right, what's wrong, and everything else. That's the way it seems to be. The Tower, where you're having a tower moment, or everything else is changing, transforming. That's the way it goes. And you're thinking, okay, well, I know what to do. I got this. I know how I can feel it. That's the way it seems to be, right? Because you have to do what you can and be told what you're doing, and that's the way it kind of is in that format. So let's see what's happening. So I'm going to go from the middle to the left, middle to the right. Do not get confused about it. So the Fool is upright, followed by the Six of Cups is upright, followed by the Death card reversed, followed by the Five of Pentacles reversed, followed by the King of Cups is upright. So basically you have support, but then you're thinking about the past. Don't know why you're thinking about the past, but the Fool is upright because you're going to change about that. You're going to change about the past. You're going to have support because that's the way it goes, right? So you could be dealing with another Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio as another water sign, as a zodiac sign, okay? That's the way it seems to be. On the right side, let's see, the Page of Wands reversed, Tower is upright, the Three of Swords reversed, followed by the Strength card is upright, followed by the Four of Cups reversed, followed by the Seven of Cups is upright. So it does where you're having a delusion. It could be where you're having a deja vu moment. The Tower is upright because you want to have everything that's going to change in that moment. That's the way it seems to be in this format, because that's the way it kind of concludes in that way. You can have Leo as a fire sign in your birth chart, wherever it is. That's how it kind of concludes in that moment, because you think about how everything is going to be in that moment, and you think, well, this is the way how I can do it. This is the way how I can master my own beliefs. And, that's the way it seems to be, because you have to figure out about what's right, what's wrong in that situation, and you think that everything will be all great, but then it's like, well, this is the way it needs to be in that moment, right? So you have to believe on how it is. So let me clarify the middle of this situation. The World reversed. So it does represent incompletion, right? So there was something that was incompleted. I don't know why, but in that state, everything is not the way it hoped, the way how it kind of believe it as it seemed to be. Let me see what's happening. Tell me something what was going on for this World card. The Star reversed. So there's no there's no inspiration. Like, you're not wishing upon a star. The Temperance reversed. You're not healing. The Nine of Cups reversed. So there's no fulfillment. Wheel of Fortune reversed because you're having bad luck. Yeah, because you are having bad luck. having bad luck is not good. It's the worst case scenario. That's the way it seems to be, and you think that, well, this is the way everything needs to be in that moment, and you think, well, this is the way of how it is, but it's like, well, how I can do it, how I can put this in the way of how I can do it. That's the way it seems to be. What's happening with this Wheel of Fortune? The Seven of Swords is upright. Ace of Pentacles reversed. So you're not looking for prosperity. You're not looking for any money. The Seven of Swords is upright where you're feeling deceit, because that's the way it seems to be. Everything is not going your way as planned. That's the way how it is. What's happening with this Ace of Pentacles? The Ten of Cups is upright. So you want to have completion. You want to have the way of how everything is in that moment. You have to believe that, okay, well, this is how I can do it. This is how I can remain. This is the way it needs to be in that moment, right? Because you have to do what you're told to do, have responsibilities, have your wants, your needs, the way of how everything is. And you think that everything will be fine, but then it's the way it seems to be, right? So you have to do what you can, and you have to focus on what you're going to be doing in that way. And that's the way it kind of concludes, right? So you have to believe that where everything has to be all good, and you have to do what you can. So I'm going to do one card in the middle, one card on the left, one card on the right. Let's see what the universe is saying. Okay, so the King of Pentacles reversed, so there's no security. Okay, Knight of Wands is upright, so there's immaturity. And the Six of Cups reversed, so there's no past. Alright, so I'm going to clarify basically. Let's start at the middle. Okay, let's start at the middle. So you have no security. Okay, well, alright, fine. Because you don't want any security. You don't want that, right? So that's the way it seems to be. But then I'm going to clarify that. So let's see what's happening. So Three of Cups reversed, so there's no celebration. The Ten of Swords is upright, so there is conclusions, right? That's the way it goes. What's happening with this Three of Cups here? The Ace of Pentacles reversed, so there's no growth. The Six of Swords reversed, there's no movement. But the Wheel of Fortune is upright, you're going to have good luck. Yeah, you're going to have good luck. So you are in between bad luck and good luck at the same time. But that's how it is. Because when you have conclusions, you have all these things are going on in that way. And you think that everything will be all fine and how I can do it. That's the way it seems to be, right? You can do it whatever you want. But that's how it kind of concludes. What's happening with this Knight of Wands? So you have the Emperor reversed, so there's no structure. The Three of Wands reversed, so there's no communication. You're not having any communication. Nothing about that. But the Justice is upright where you're telling the truth. Yeah, that's the way it goes. But when you have no communication, you're not going to communicate. And that's the way it needs to be. You're thinking, well, this is not going to end well. It's not. Because when you have no communication whatsoever, it's like that's the way it goes. It's like why you are having a piece of tape around your mouth and you can't say anything, right? That's what it is, right? So you have to believe on how you can communicate in a different way, a different altitude or whatever it is, right? Because that's what it seems to be, right? What's happening on the right side with this past? Ace of Swords is upright, so there's an understanding here. Five Pentacles reversed, there's no insecurity, exactly. And the Temperance is upright where you're healing. That's the way it goes, right? So you have an understanding here. That's the way it goes. Everything has to be all great in that format because that's the way it kind of needs to be in that way. What's happening between this Temperance card? The Six of Pentacles here. So there is no kindness. Yeah, you're not being kind. You're being mean or rude or whatever, disrespectful. That's what it seems to be. Let me clarify the Six of Pentacles. The Five of Cups is upright, so there's grief. Judgment is upright, where you're taking action. Yeah, because you're grieving about something. You're feeling sad. You're whimpering. You don't know how you can resist of how you can remain that the ability from the right and wrong perspective, but then things will go as planned. Things will go as it is, right? That's the way it seems to be, right? So let's see what's going on in the middle, what's going on to the left, what's going on through the right. We're almost done with this reading, by the way. What's happening on the left side? So the Shadow Queen, acquiring knowledge, insecurity, and manipulation. You could be feeling like you're being manipulated because you're not having things to go your way. You're having no communication, right? Because you need to figure out what's going on in that way. You could be you're acting like you're being immaturity because that's the way it goes, and you need to figure out how you can do it. So you could be feeling like you're having manipulation because you're being manipulated, and things are not going as planned, right? That's the way it seems to be. And what's in the middle? The Ego King, the big picture, angelic help. Yeah, you could be having the big picture. You're seeing the big picture, and you're looking at the big picture. When you're looking at the big picture, it could be like a movie screen, right? Like it's 3D, like it's huge, right? But when you look at the big screen and the big picture at the same time, everything has to be all good, right? Just like a big picture, like a portrait, right? That's what it seems to be. But you have to understand where things have to be in that way, and you have to believe that you have to understand that, right? That's the way it seems to be, okay? And what's happening on the right side? The Ringmaster of Scrutiny, discernment, clear vision, details. Yeah, you basically need to learn about how to understand about having details, right? Because it's not small details, but it could be big details that you need to understand. That's how it seems to be, right? Because that's the way it needs to be in that way. And you think that everything has to be all good. It's like, yeah, but you have to have your own responsibilities, have your wants, your needs, that's the way it goes, right? So this could be a very interesting way, and you have to understand that, right? Because this is not going to be like a diversion or something like that. It's the way of how everything is in that way, and you think that everything is going to be in that perfection, and that's how it seems to be, right? That's the way it is. This is how you're feeling. That's the way it goes, right? Let's see what's happening. Alright. Let's see. On the left side is 10 of Fires. Too much work, I accept help from others. Life is out of balance. Stress-related health concerns. Yeah. You can have a life out of balance, and maybe you have stress related health concerns because you're feeling like everything is not going as planned, everything is not going your way, you're feeling like there's something that was happening, and it's basically how it is. So you could be dealing with another Leo, Aries, or Sagittarius as the zodiac signs, as fire signs, and that's the way it seems to be. What's in the middle? You have the Queen of Water, tender-hearted, empathetic, patient, loving. Relationship developed to a new level. Trust your intuition. Care for yourself and others. Yeah, you could have trust your own intuition, like having your own gut feelings. That's the way it seems to be in that order. That's the way it needs to be. So you could be dualizing our Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio as the zodiac signs, as water signs. So you have to pay attention to what's going on in that way, and that's how it seems to be. Okay. And what's happening on the right side? The Three of Air. Great sadness. Take time to heal. The need to forgive yourself or others. Yeah. So you can have a take time to heal, because you're going to be healing about something, because there's something that was, because you're grieving about something or you're feeling sad or whatever it is, because that's the way it goes, right? So you have to understand that beyond that point, beyond about that point of view, whatever it is, you have to believe that this is just the way it's going to be, and you have to make progress. That's the way it goes, right? So you do what you can to understand about what's your limitations, about your emotions, your feelings, whatever it is. But then this is the way it seems to be. So you could be deal with another Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius as a zodiac signs, as air signs, and that's how it seems to be. And let me read you something for the Enchanted Mapp at the end of this home title reading, so you can hear my beautiful voice. So it's going to be very interesting on what's happening. Alright, so here we go. Number 54, encouragement. Ooh, this is a good one for you, Cancer. Let's see. Alright, so here we go for this number 54. Upright position. This is the way it seems to be, I guess. Encouragement, it says, you're receiving a nudge in the right direction. So this is how it is. It says, this card tells you that you are being gently encouraged to step into your power, into the dream of your life. New things are out there to be explored, and the nurturing power of the universe is giving you a nudge in the right direction. You will get the help you need, won't be alone in your quest. Every step you take right now is supported by the wisdom of the universe. You are on the right path. Keep going. So that's how it seems to be, because you are in the step of your own right direction, because that's the way it kind of concludes, and that's the way it seems to be, and that's the way it needs to be, right? So you need to understand about what's happening around this situation, and you need to do what you can to believe on how it is, right? Like I say, this is not a short and sweet. This is not the way how it is, but you have to believe that everything has to be, and you have to think about what's going on in that moment. So you have to give it time. You have to do what you're told to do, right? And that's the way it is. But then you have to understand about how everything is going to be in that right moment, because you have to do that. You have to do what you can and say, all right, well, this is the way how it is. I need to understand this, and this is the way it seems to be. So you have to believe that everything has to be in the right moment, in the right time, in exact place, whatever it is. You have to do what you can. And you do what you can to believe in yourself. believe that you can do what you can in that moment, and you have to think about that, right? This is the way how it is. So you have to do what you can and do exactly what you're told to do, and that's how it needs to be. So I hope you all like this video. Please give it a like. Please give it a moment and understand that, because that's the way it needs to be, and that's the way it kind of concludes, right? So that's how it is in that moment. That's how it is. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful day to all, and I will see you next time. Thank you, and bye.